Thanks, Anjali, for that. Hello and welcome to Market Closing on our brand new collab show between Business Today and India Today Television. It's 3 p.m. and you will get all the closing action on markets right here. Let's take a first look at what's hot in the corporate and financial space right now. Markets trade in a range as Nifty tries to hold on to the 25,000 mark, gaining around 50 points in trade. The sensex rises about 180 points, hovering around 81,600 on weekly expiry. After a 5% surge over the past 2 days, IT stocks have seen profit booking today, with Infosys, Oracle Financial Services, Emphasis leading the losses as investors now await the US CPI data. Meanwhile, oil and gas shares have gained in trade, with IOC, GAIL as well as GSPL gaining anywhere between 2 to 4%. 3 main board IPOs, Urban Company, Shringar House of Mangal Sutra and Dev Accelerator have continued to attract strong investor response on day 2. Urban Company is 7 times subscribed. We've also seen Dev Accelerator 11 times subscribed, and we've seen Shringar 5 times subscribed, right ahead of the Friday subscription close. At the SIAM convention, Nitin Gadkari has hit back at critics of E20 fuel rollout, calling the campaign against imports. He also has said that he has urged the finance minister to consider GST relief for customers scrapping old vehicles to buy new cars. Amazon now has expanded its services to Mumbai after witnessing a 25% month-on-month growth since its launch earlier this year in Bengaluru and New Delhi. Well, let's straight away look at how the markets are trading at the last half an hour of trade. If you look at where the Nifty is, it's hovering just at the 25,000 mark right now, up by about 27 points in trade. Let's also look at the Sensex that's hovering around 81,500 odd mark right there. There's an almost 90 point of an uptick. So we are sitting on the 7th day of gains for the markets. We've already had 6 days of consecutive gains on the D Street as well. What's really looking good at this point in time? Well, you look at the broader markets, they're also higher in trade. Among the sectors also, you will be able to see that it's the Nifty Bank that's pulling up, PSU banks that are holding up in trade as well. We're also looking at, however, on the declining end, that it's the IT stocks that have taken to profit booking in the session today. The IT index is the top losing sector at this point in time, with almost 0.7% of losses. It's near the low point of the day is how you see the IT index at currently. Let's look at the top movers. As far as the Nifty is concerned, on the top 5 moving stocks as well as the top 5 laggards in the last half an hour of trade. On the kind of moves that we are seeing on the Nifty gains, you can actually see SIAM Finance that's hovering higher. You also have Axis Bank, Power Grid, Zomato, that's eternal now. These are the key stocks that are hovering higher in trade. On the flip side, when you see, look at the kind of losses that we are seeing. It's a lot of IT stocks, Wipro, HCL Tech, TCS that's declining in trade. You also have some auto names that are also slipping away in trade in the session today as well. Now remember, viewers, we also have a lot of gainers as far as the Nifty 500 basket is concerned. You have names like Vari Energies, that's hovering about 7% higher. You have Aurobindo Pharma, that's up by 5%. Newland Laboratories, another 5% higher in trade. And Chola Financial Holdings is also up by about 4%. So those are the top gains that you're looking at this point in time. But remember, the rupee has sunk to a new record low of 88.44 against the US dollar. So we will be looking at how this clearly impacts some of the export-oriented sectors at large as well. But let's welcome our guest on board. We are now joined by Ashu Madan, the MD of JM Financial, on the program with us, and he's the birthday boy. Happy birthday to you, Ashu, and thank you so much for taking the time out for this special conversation and giving us your time on your special day as well. Let's start off with your favorite subject, the stock markets. How are you looking at the current sentiment? And with your birthday, do you think that there will be some more green ticks above 25,000 that we'll be able to see?
Sakshi, at the outset, thank you for having me and thank you so much for the wishes. So, Sakshi, see, currently my favorite quote is, it's not about Tezi or Mandi, it's about the lack of participation. What has happened in the last few months, Sakshi, that there is a depleted interest, depleting volumes, depleting ARPUs. So everything that is what is being affecting the market. And if you look at all the positive news being priced in, whether it is GST, whether it is tax reforms, GST reforms, FIs are continuously selling. And you just mentioned one very important point, rupee depreciating 88.40. I think, see, overall in the scheme of things, I would best call this market a sideways market. I think you would have seen, we have seen in recent past, July, there was a message floating around 2024, July market was 25,500. And July 2025 market is 25,500. So we have not done anything. So probably a similar range or similar thing can happen, Sakshi, in 2000 by till 2026 also, that we don't go anywhere. We remain in the larger range of 24,000 to 26,000, and for 2 years we don't do anything. That is, that's a different kind of, that's a price correction, which unfortunately, as a market participant, we have not been habitual of since post-COVID. We have been so habitual of action and like a T20 action, and the market has suddenly converted into a test match arena. So that is what is bothering the participants, and most of the people are losing interest. So that is the state of the market currently right now.
Absolutely, you're bang on point when it comes to the kind of market mood that we've been seeing for a fairly long time now, and you do see that there could be elongated consolidation that we have to get prepared for, a time correction of sorts that we could be probably looking at as well. But you know, what is the best way? You've been somebody who's been tracking the markets for decades now. You can help us understand there must have been periods like this even before. Rightly pointed out by you that all the new investors are seeing this for the first time. Those that entered post-COVID into the markets are seeing this for the first time, and they are very restless with this kind of a lackluster kind of a momentum in the markets. What are you advising those investors to do at this point in time? You know, at this point, everybody is looking at gold and silver, which is consistently, going to record high levels. Or should one continue to focus on equities, slow and steady, accumulate them in the long term? This is likely to outperform. How would you advise that fresh investor now?
Yes, certainly. See, nowadays, actually, another thing which is bothering a lot of people is when you talk about what do you feel about the market and where is the market going. So market index is different, stocks are different. Even if market has run up by 500,000 points, and you look at the portfolios, when I check the portfolio of the clients, they don't go anywhere. People are stuck in the PSUs, railways. For them, the market is their portfolio. For us, the market is probably the headline indices. So it's absolutely two different kind of numbers which we talking about. So currently, if somebody who's not invested, I still feel that index or index funds or probably index ETFs or probably large caps are still a better bet, because the first level of reversal comes in large caps only. Mid caps will take a lot of time, and for that you need a secular kind of a bull run to get. And another factor, Sakshi, when I said somebody that what are the signs that market is turning around. So I say a simple thumb rule, which is a very amateur thumb rule, that whatever your portfolio past 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, 2 years, which is badly stuck, the moment you see 25% of your portfolio in green, that's a very, very strong sign that we are in a reversal mode, and that's what is important to look at. Otherwise, there is no number that, if you reach 25,500, is the market good, or 26,000? Now the problem is that, Sakshi, another important point as a market participant we must remember is that even if this time market crosses new high 26,500, let's say some good news happens, some mega good news comes on tariff front and we crosses 26,000. Will the market participation will be the same? Will the prices of the stocks where people are stuck will be same, or will they get the exit? The answer is strongly no. It will be an index-based recovery, select recovery. Indices will go higher, but our portfolios will still be down 20%. So that is where somebody has to realize the fact that some point in time now they have to churn. So the larger question, Sakshi, people ask me, or you ask me, or I ask you, is that let's say we are moving towards 26,000 plus. Who will be the next hero? Which will be the next heroes? Which sector?
Absolutely.
So that is what something has to be identified.
I think I will come to that, identifying the next heroes of what could actually lead your portfolios into a higher sort of a green is something that I'll come to you. So hold that thought there. Meanwhile, viewers, remember at the SIAM convention of 2025, it's the Union Minister for Road Transport and Highways, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, who has made two major statements today. First, he's hit back at the critics of the E20 fuel rollout, calling it a paid political campaign against him. Second, Gadkari has also revealed that he has urged the Finance Minister to consider GST relief for customers scrapping old vehicles and buying new ones. So let's listen in to what he had to say.
E20 प्रोग्राम के बारे में कंसर्निंग ऑटोमोबाइल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी ARAI और सभी SIAM सब ने मिलकर उनके जो फाइंडिंग्स थे इसके बारे में पूरी तरह क्लैरिटी दी है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट में भी इसके बारे में बहुत साफ निर्णय हुआ है। अब जैसे आपकी इंडस्ट्री है वैसे हमारा पॉलिटिक्स भी है, तो ये सोशल मीडिया का जो कैंपेन था वो पेड कैंपेन था, वो अगेंस्ट इथेनॉल था और पॉलिटिकली टारगेट मुझे करने के लिए था। मैंने प्रधानमंत्री जी को भी रिक्वेस्ट की, फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर को भी कही है कि स्क्रैपिंग को बढ़ाने के लिए जो गाड़ी स्क्रैप करेंगे और नई गाड़ी लेंगे उसमें कुछ GST के बारे में हम सोच सकते, तो विचार करिए। ये भी बात हमने वित्त मंत्री के सामने रखी है।
Right. We're also now joined by my colleague Chetan Bhutani to give us more sense as to what exactly is the thought process when it comes to GST relief on scrapping the old vehicles. Chetan, what could this move really lead to if it is accepted, and what are the implications that we are looking for here?
Well, Sakshi, we've been seeing that the government's scrappage policy has not really kicked off as it wanted to be. The government is now becoming very serious on to encourage customers to ensure that consumers who want to, in fact, scrap their old vehicles should do more often and should, in fact, go to the registered facility to do so. And in order to encourage that, Nitin Gadkari, in his speech, as we all heard, has requested the Prime Minister and made a proposal before the Finance Minister as well that any person who wishes to scrap his or her vehicle and uses that certificate to buy a new vehicle, a GST rebate should be given on that. But as of now, what benefits do you get if you scrap your vehicle at a registered facility? You get a 5% manufacturer discount. So if you're buying a Tata Motors or a Maruti Suzuki car, OEM will give you 2 to 5% discount depending on the car that you're buying. Second, you get a road tax concession, Sakshi. Many states have started to offer road tax concession and a registration fees concession, who in fact want to encourage and register more cars and of course utilize that at the facility as well. So you get 3 to 4 benefits, but there's no tax relief that the consumer gets. All in all, the government has announced a slew of GST reforms, and Gadkari has made the same presentation or a suggestion rather to say so to the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister, that if a GST rebate or a GST reduction could be done on the SOPs that you're already giving, it could further incentivize and boost the consumer sentiment to scrap their vehicles and give a more boost to the auto industry as well. So we'll expect, if the proposal goes through in times to come, we can expect car prices to go down further, and of course giving a boost to the buying sentiment as well.
Absolutely. Chetan, thanks a lot for getting us all that update. Getting back to Mr. Madan now to help us understand, how is he looking at the auto sector at large and all these news flows as to how they're going to be impacting the sentiment, the demand, sales, and if there is any opportunity for investors to look at there as well. Mr. Madan, so many, moving parts here. Auto sector, as we all know, has reflected the maximum amount of enthusiasm after the GST rationalization was announced. Now comes in when the minister himself is talking about extension of GST relief to those who may be thinking of scrapping their older cars to buy new. How is that likely to impact in case this move is accepted? We are given to understand by 22nd of September, we are going to be having the initial thought process of whatever has been finalized by the GST Council so far. But eventually, how are you looking at these newer reforms that could be coming in onto the auto space? Mr. Madan, could you hear me?
Sakshi, I think I partly missed your question. Your audio
it's
was...
okay. Could you give me an outlook on the auto space at large with respect to the entire GST rationalization?
Like you rightly said, that enthusiasm, a lot of enthusiasm is also already priced in, and we have seen a surge in the prices. So if you're, if you will continue to catch that enthusiasm, maybe somewhere you get trapped on the top. So I think what we are suggesting to our clients is, at best, we should hold the buying at these current levels, because I think, like you say, that news is also priced in, and not just priced in, the price reaction also happened. These are the times when at times you get caught on top of the barrel, which is a very important discipline which one should follow. At best, you can go to auto ancillary stocks because there are still pockets of, the pockets of opportunities are there. So otherwise, I think new age stocks where consumption will lead. I think GST reforms and the tax reforms, every reform, Sakshi, has a lag effect. So I would say that the new age stocks and probably the stocks which are consumption themes, which is hotel, travel related, and probably all these things which we are positive about because these are the themes which will emerge. Like I just said that, I mean, the bigger question people ask is, कि मेरा stock कब निकलेगा? When I'll be able to sell my
Yeah.
Hutco or IREDA or PSU stocks or REC or PSU stocks which are stuck. So my answer is that somewhere you have to take that, you have to bite that bullet, and probably the churn is very important. That is a very courageous move, Sakshi, because anybody's portfolio have seen a unprecedented profits in the past, and suddenly last 1 year they're down and out and lackluster market. For them to book a loss is very important. So we say that churning of portfolio at some point in time is very important. For example, market infra stocks, I mean, led by BSE and many other stocks. It's been months I've been saying that the closure of weekly expiries, they were the darling of the exchanges. They were traders' delight. They were investor delight, and they have given, I mean, multi mega returns. But if you keep holding them, not realizing that what will be the effect of the closure of these weekly expiries, which will lead to something. I mean, that's where somewhere you have to take that action. So which is very important. So churn of portfolio would be the theme for the next few months, because even if, as I said, that we are going towards new high at some point of time, which will surely go, but will the same stocks will take us, which were the heroes of the past bull run? Probably the answer is
so
no.
heroes of the past, but what will be the hero of the future, Ashu? Like you pointed out, identifying the heroes is going to be an extremely important step there, and you can guide all our viewers there. How are you identifying the next set of heroes?
We lost the audio, Sakshi.
Okay, can you hear me now, Ashu? Okay, we'll try and connect back with Mr. Madan yet again and see how the connection is sorted out. In the meanwhile, we'll also highlight for all our viewers when it comes to the entire IPO space at large. Remember, 3 IPOs that had opened up, sailed through in yesterday's trading session alone. We've actually seen, multiple times of a subscription coming in for Urban Company. We've also seen multiple times, look, you can actually see Urban Company up there for you. Issue size is 1900 crore rupees. And within the first day, a few hours in trade, we actually saw the company's IPO completely sailing through in trade as well. Day 1 subscription for Dev Accelerator has also been pretty sharp. You can actually see for all the second day as well, most of these IPOs have actually got even further subscription, higher subscription as well, upwards of 5 times, 11 times, 6 times for many of these IPOs as well. So there is enough and heightened investors' demand as far as the IPO is concerned. We are going to be connecting back with Ashu to identify between these 3 IPOs what exactly is the opportunity that you could probably look at as well. Let me also just go across to see how the markets are trading at this point in time in terms of the IT stocks. Remember, viewers, we have to keep an eye out on Infosys for that matter. Just today is when we are going to be seeing how Infosys is going to be taking a decision on the buyback. This is the 5th buyback that the IT company is going to be announcing, remember, and the first one in the last 3 years as what we are going to be seeing as far as Infosys IPO is, Infosys buyback is concerned. Previously, we have actually seen that these companies have actually performed well on the announcement of the IPOs, and we'll have to see whether this IPO new buyback as well will offer a good opportunity there as well. But we were talking about the IPO space, so let's move to the IPO debuts. Urban Company is set to make the listing on Dalal Street, and ahead of that, my colleague Abhiraj spoke to Abhiraj Singh Bhal, who's the founder and CEO of Urban Company, on the company's results. From back-to-back losses to turning profitable in FY25, Abhiraj explains what is driving this turnaround and whether the profitability trend is sustainable. Let's listen in.
Abhiraj, FY25 saw a turnaround from heavy losses in FY23 and 24 to a profit of 239 crore rupees. How sustainable is this profitability trend?
Abba, so if I talk about the last 3 financial years, we have gone from about 437.5 crores in revenue from operations in FY22 to about 1144.5 in FY25. And of that 707 crores of incremental revenue that we have added to the top line, we've seen a translation of about 385 crores moving to the adjusted EBITDA, going from negative 373 to positive 12, and about 540 odd crores in the profit before tax, going from negative 514 to positive 28. Now, the profit after tax has a deferred tax asset of 211 crores. I would urge your listeners to ignore that accounting entry because that is taken in lieu of future profitability. The real profits that the company generated should be seen as a profit before tax level, which is about 28 odd crores, or the adjusted EBITDA, which is about 12. So you can say more or less the company today is at a break-even stage. On a base of about 1,144 crores of revenue, we've generated small profits, but it's turned a corner. In our kind of businesses, investments happen upfront in technology, training, brand building, and customer acquisition, etc. And once you hit a certain threshold scale, the fixed costs don't grow linearly with top line, and one can expect a meaningful percentage of the top line and contribution margin flowing into the adjusted EBITDA.
All right, let's get back to our conversation with Mr. Madan. You heard out the management of Urban Company. We've been seeing an increased appetite from investors. These 3 IPOs which sailed through just in a few hours of coming in as well, and more subscriptions flowing in on day 2 for all the 3 of them. What's your sense on these new set of IPOs that are coming in? Your sense on Urban Company? Many of us in the urban cities are now used to of using their services, the formalized household services now, but given that the company was suffering with a lot of losses for a long time and suddenly turned profitable for FY25. Does it give you that confidence of going for an IPO like that? Will it create a lot of shareholder value? There's also this question of a high amount of offer for sale, sir.
Sakshi, if you look at most of the, or many of, or, few, or rather I should say few of the IPOs, suddenly preceding few years, and you'll see last 1 or 2 years they get converted into profit and IPOs are coming. But at the same time, we have to live with this reality that as we were talking about the theme, that which are the sectors or the stocks which can be the next bull run zero. So, I mean, that way we have to keep trying with the new age stocks only. If they fall into the new age bucket, like Eternal, people keep questioning about the pricing or the the valuation which Eternal is attracting, but at the same time, you love it or hate it, but you can't avoid it. So I think we have to keep trying with these new age ideas, and these are the ones which will be which can be a next multi-bagger stock. Obviously, there will be few disappointments here and there, but I think one has to live with it, and that's where the bigger ideas will emerge. So one has to keep trying. So I think IPO, you don't get much allotment, but all said and done, post-listing also, few of them would be very interesting themes, and one has to stick with them for a couple of years. You never know which one becomes big.
Okay, got that. Let me also ask you, Ashuji, to help us understand, you were talking about identifying the heroes. So, beyond the kind of, rally that we've seen in the markets thus far, where the banking stocks have actually largely led with the baton ahead, how are you identifying the right kind of sectors and the stocks to enter into right now?
Yeah, as I said, for me, the consumption theme, there's a lag effect. I mean, there were tax reforms, there were GST reforms, and I think both these reforms will lead somewhere to enhance consumption. And consumption themes could be hotel, could be travel, and also we are very positive on hospital business. I mean, that will continue to thrive irrespective of any market condition. But we are a little conspicuous on. I would say that financials, because there are no fancy incomes now. If you look at the recent report, the UPI pressure which is on the banks, which is a non-earning product, and look at the quantum of UPI they are handling, and NIMs are under pressure, and so there are no fancy income per se for the banks. But yes, if the overall market moves, banks could lead the rally only because they have been down and out for the last couple of months and they have not participated at all, and they are defying every logic. So, I mean, there could be some pressure, but I think it is better because they will be slow movers. If you look at the PSU banks also, they are not going anywhere. I mean, other than the HDFC Bank or ICICI Bank, which have also taken a breather. I mean, banks are not performing, and if you look at the second-rung banks, IDFC banks or of the world, I mean, they are also not doing anything. So I'm not too gung-ho on banks because they cannot become a bigger themes. You have to identify bigger themes. I mean, so I think consumption-led theories, which could be non-FMCG. FMCG are already participated.
Yes.
Could be the themes which can become big in the next rally.
And any stock ideas that you could share with our viewers now?
I mean, as I said, that broad themes would be better consumption, hotel, airlines,
Yeah.
travel-related, hospital, pharma stocks. So I think they'll continue to do well.
Fantastic. All right, we also have a viewer question for you, Mr. Madan here. This is from Himanshu Rawat from Dehradun. He wants to ask you as an expert that can we expect markets to hit fresh record highs by this Diwali? And if yes, then where should I be investing in early to ride the upward rally as well?
Sakshi, I think people who know me, I mean, would not have asked me this question. Reason being, I don't associate these targets with Diwali or Holi or, I mean, there are 90% disappointments. So I don't believe in these targets, Diwali to Diwali. Then I simply tell them, please rewind last year's interviews of all the Diwali picks and see what are the result of this Diwali. Let's not associate Diwali and bring in all these Navratras and all these things which people bring. This is an absolutely different ball game altogether. But yes, we can certainly, I mean, timelines you cannot decide, but the way markets are shaping up, and if 25,000, is held on, well, you could see market moving towards 26,000. But again, that if market is moving, Nifty is one direction and the stocks participation is little questionable. But one should keep hoping.
Okay, we'll just quickly look at the market closing and come back to you for our conversation. It's 3:30 right now. 25,005 is where we've ended the day at. That means a 32 point of an uptick on the Nifty viewers. This is the 7th day of gains for the Nifty. Along with the Nifty, you're also seeing the Nifty Bank hovering about 0.2% higher in trade. That's where it has shut shop. You can also look at a lot of sectors that have pulled up in trade today. Oil and gas was the top moving sector towards the end of the session. We did see over 1% gains for this one. Even the PSU banking space that pulled up almost ended with about 7-10% of a move on the higher side. You have infra, pharma stocks, something that even Ashuji mentioned is he's bullish on, about 0.5% higher for this one. But the sectors that continue to see some profit taking were IT, autos and consumer durables at large. Top movers on the Nifty by the end of the session, Shriram Finance ending with 2.5% gains, Adani Enterprises ending with 2.5% move, NTPC, Axis Bank, Power Grid, those are the stocks that have moved up in trade. On the lower end, however, when we look at the stocks, look at an infosys that dragged now 1.5%. Remember, right ahead of the board meeting that will continue to help us understand what is the size of the IPO, how big a size is it going to be, whether it's going to be from the open market or through the tender route, and all of those details that will be coming in today after the market hours. Bajaj Auto, Eicher Motors, these were the other top drags from the auto basket. Hero Moto, Titan and SBI Life were also top drags right there. Coming back to Ashuji to understand about, the future outlook. Since you've been talking about a lot of themes where investors can actually hope to see some outperformance to come in as well. I also wanted to take your own birthday message for all our viewers out there as well. As, somebody who's been looking at markets from a, longer lens and has seen all the ups and downs and all the cycles therefore, what is the message that you'd like to pass on to all the investors watching you today?
Yeah, I said that I generally, normally my message is that whenever there's a euphoria, that is where somebody has to control. And if you cannot control, then you should exercise patience during these times also. This will also pass. I mean, these are the testing times, which is very important. But I mean, it's easier said than done. See, having a patience to hold for something for long is not a problem with most of the investors or the clients or the participants. It is when they see a 30-40% down move on the portfolio. That is where you need a lot of courage. And that's the time when the theme which I just mentioned about, that for somebody to sell a loss-making stock is a very difficult decision. But that is where somebody has to be very open and with experience, with the right advice, churn the portfolio. Because even if the market,
churn
like
the portfolio. I think that's the magic word that Ashu you have shared with us, and that's what we're going to be keeping in mind. Happy birthday once again. Thank you so much for taking the time out for this conversation. We're completely out of time on this edition, but I want to share with all our viewers how many of you really remember Pokemon cards. Well, it turns out that it's not just nostalgia, but in hindsight, it could have been a great investment opportunity for many of us who would have missed that. Certain international international news reports have highlighted how a 27-year-old account manager from Ohio has used the profits from Pokemon trading cards to buy a custom engagement ring and funded his wedding as well. Now, reports have cited data from analytics firm Card Ladder indicating that since 2004, Pokemon cards have delivered an astonishing over 3,800% kind of returns, far eclipsing even the Wall Street's S&P 500 index return of 483% over the same period. Even tech giant Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, has only gained a lower of 1,844% gains since its 2012 debut. What began as 1996 as a Nintendo franchise is now a speculative gold mine, luring both nostalgia fans as well as savvy investors at large. With that, we leave you right here, but do stay tuned on to India Today.